Hey, nerds! It's Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Exclusive tabletop game podcast for the Pacific Northwest. All levels of gamers. Analog gaming. Tabletop news. Dungeons and Dragons and magic. Stupid, mindless banter.
There will definitely be some. That's probably our best.
Lot of
That's
stupid
our
banter.
Hey geeks,
best.
Blue Samurai here. It's episode 45.
45, that's awesome.
Yes.
What is that in Roman numerals?
XXX
V.
5.
I
Okay.
don't know. I think there's an I somewhere.
VL. V. Okay.
But we are your podcast in tabletop games and we do game reviews. We interview tabletop game designers and blah 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 blah.
Tabletops.
But we have a great episode for you today.
You didn't introduce us, man.
Well, I didn't even. Did I say even? I don't even.
You
think
said
I
your name.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta introduce yourself. Go ahead.
I'm Rebeculous.
I'm still Paul.
Yeah.
And I want to start a new thing, especially when we're around the table in Washington. This other podcast, they play Pathfinder as a Wheel or Woe.
Okay.
What they do is they go around the table and say what they're drinking. I think that sounds like fun.
Well, that's not very fair because I don't have anything.
Well, that's a personal choice. So, Rebeculous, what are you drinking today
I'm
around the
drinking
table?
this lovely porter of 5.5% Capella. Capella. It's Capella.
But
When I ordered it, I said, "May I please have a Capella porter?"
Oh,
and I was
because
like,
that's
"Yes."
so funny.
But yeah, I actually did not catch the brewery, but it's Capella porter, and it's gosh darn tasty.
I am drinking a Hooligan Stout by, I can't remember
Because
who
you
makes
are a
it.
hooligan.
I'm a total hooligan.
It's made by hooligans.
Yes,
Stout ones.
yes. It's a local beer. Why don't I remember who makes it? By Old Schoolhouse Brewery. It's a 5 out of 5 on Untapped.
And I'm drinking imaginary beer.
Maybe later for you.
Delicious.
Take it easy.
Yes.
Take it easy.
And this has been What You're Drinking in a Minute.
All right.
I like it. I like this.
Paul, who do we have to interview today?
Our good friend Lynne Hardy. She is one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yes, and she.
Wow, that's quite.
And what's great about her is she lets us interview her.
Yes, she does. And she flies all the way from England
And her
to
accent.
spend time with us at OrcaCon.
Oh, I fancy her accent.
Oh, well, goodness.
Oh, boy,
Wow,
you
yeah,
just
we
insulted
lost
her.
all of Europe.
Yeah. Rebeculous is a racist.
That's like a compliment. I'm trying to emulate them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, Lynn? You're never gonna Brexit us.
That's right.
Because we love you.
That's right.
Like that?
Very fancy.
That's right. Apparently they still can't Brexit either. So, what else do we have going on today? I think we have a game review.
review.
Oh, yes.
Games review. It's called Echidna Shuffle. Is that correct?
I think it's
It's not about Mexican food. It's actually Echidna Shuffle.
How would you
Shuffle.
know that?
Because I know what an echidna is because I have gone to school.
So kids, stay in school.
It is the only living mammal that lays eggs, FYI. But that's not what the game is about. What's it about?
I thought a platypus. Doesn't a platypus have it? Oh.
I just
I'm
freaking
sorry,
read it
I
on Wikipedia,
I'm sorry,
man.
I
It's the only
just-
living mammal.
Wikipedia never lies.
No.
Stay in
are.
school, kids. Stay in school.
That's right.
So what do we got for
Well,
con news, though?
Con
I
news.
gotta
we're-
rebut
we're
you now.
jumping right
Talk
into
amongst
it.
yourselves.
Okay.
For con news, we got coming up Terminal City Tabletop Convention, or TCTC.
Wait, dude, no, he's right.
What?
See, platypus. They're
Really?
the only two living mammals.
Oh, okay.
that lays. You're right.
goodness,
Good
thank
one.
goodness.
Thank
Good
you.
one.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm so
Somebody was
impressed.
The
paying
more you
attention.
know. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's okay.
Can you put a rainbow when I said that? The more you know.
Well,
rainbow?
I'll see if I can find a rainbow. I've
Okay.
got new editing software,
Good.
so
Excellent.
maybe things will sound better.
That's good.
We'll see. And the Terminal City Tabletop Convention is Vancouver's, British Columbia, biggest tabletop board game convention. It's March 30th through 31st. It's the 6th annual. They have a
Is that like Vancouver, Washington?
No, it's
Canada?
Vancouver, Canada,
Okay.
Vancouver, BC.
Just checking.
They've got a huge board game library. They got a Catan tournament, so check it out. That is on terminalcitytabletop.com.
All
Talking
right.
too fast.
You're right,
Talk
I am
slow.
talking too fast. I'm going to speak more slowly. We also have coming up,
And talk towards the mic.
what's up coming up? WenCon.
Well, when is that?
When is that? That
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
disappeared on me.
When God.
Oh my goodness, why is this gone now?
Was it when?
WinCon isn't
Help me
in
out. Help me
Wenatchee.
I
out.
don't know.
Oh.
It's in Wenatchee. It's a
Got it.
I
convention.
get it. I get it.
General
I get
info.
It. That's funny. Okay.
She got it like
Hey, WhenCon, make sure you put the date of your con on the main page.
It just keeps
of your
scrolling
website,
through.
Right?
Oh, Saturday,
There
April 13th,
There you go.
2019,
Cool.
from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
All right.
9 a.m. for VIP entry. So that's going to be at wen-con.com.
All right.
That sounds super cool.
And Paul and Rebeculus will be there.
We will be there, just like we went to Nerd Fair.
Oh yeah.
Nerd
Loser.
Fair was great. We missed Nerd Fair, I'm sorry. I did get a briefing from my friend Sebastian. Remember Sebastian?
Not really.
Okay,
Can you describe it?
he's tall, skinny. He's a courtesy clerk where we used to work.
Oh
He's
yes.
got a
Oh
weird-
yes.
it's a-
I do
a
remember
pirate,
Sebastian.
Like a captain's
Hey
beard.
Sebastian. I didn't talk
We call him
much.
Seabass.
Oh well, that makes sense.
All right.
Well, he enjoyed it.
So what was his? He did.
He enjoyed it a lot. He bought some comic books.
Cool. Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Sorry, can't review that. That's my fault. That's my fault.
It's okay.
But there's another con
Good
looks
to
like
know.
that's coming up you could be going to, maybe?
Maybe Rebecca's going to this convention.
Oh yes. Oh
Norwest
yes.
Con 42.
Oh,
They
yes.
did invite us. We should send
They
an
did. I
email
kind
to
of
them.
want to.
We should send an email to them.
Yes.
We should.
Why don't you
right?
do that?
Yeah,
Rebeculus?
Rebecca.
Yes.
All right, I'll ask.
Okay.
You
my
might
wife
be able to
how
get a
do
press
that.
pass.
Okay. Yes, they did offer.
Ooh, do you get
Okay.
to wear like a hat that says press?
You certainly can.
Good. You can do whatever you want.
You have to get interviews and stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Norwestcon's a science fiction literature convention.
I could wear my
And they have a
steampunk
special
glasses.
librarian there, right?
Oh, Nancy Pearl.
Nancy Pearl.
Oh.
And also, I think this is at the same dates. It's Norwestcon is April 18th through 21st.
Oh, okay.
SakuraCon is April 19th through 21st.
Uh-oh.
At the Washington State Convention Center.
Which one are you going to go to?
Oh.
Right? It's
Well, I want to see Nancy Pearl. How many famous librarians are there?
Okay, good. So
How many?
that-
No, like one.
I don't know. But
Like
there's,
that's
Did
it.
you know there's 2 mammals that lay eggs, though?
Now I do.
And there may be, and they may be represented in the mascot contest at SakuraCon.
Oh.
I heard people always dress as Echidna
Or an enchilada.
or an enchilada.
Are you going to go to SakuraCon
I,
in Blue Samurai?
Unfortunately, I
Sorry,
will
was that
be...
racist? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
wait, no, no, not at all. No, I will not be there. Unfortunately, I have to work.
Yeah.
I gotta work.
Sir, we like your
But-
little foot soldiers
as
that
well.
have to go
Well,
around.
when I'm
and-
done, I can do. But you can do interviews, right? Do you know how to do that?
Jeez,
with
by
your phone?
myself?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
gosh, no,
You
I'm
can do that.
scared. No, I'm scared.
Good
No
luck.
one would even listen to that. No.
Bring,
Yes, they would.
Yeah, they would.
No.
Get an app for your phone.
Or bring Doug with you.
Bring Doug.
Doug would be good.
Yeah,
Does
see
he
if he'll
do
go.
that?
Good Doug.
They don't know who
Not,
Doug
not,
is.
not evil Doug.
Not evil Doug, good Doug.
I don't know who
Well, good Doug is doing
I don't know.
tabletop games.
Good Doug does reviews for us.
Yes.
Evil Doug plays D&D with us sometimes.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
I've caught up.
What
Oh, slow. I get
other
there.
games do we got going? Or cons?
Con
that
News
is?
has we got 4 cons. I think that's good.
Okay.
Any
Well, and don't
pros?
forget, you can. I think, can you sign up for OrcaCon
You can.
or Dragonfly
I think
for
it-
the tour?
is
I think
it,
you can. I don't know.
It's Dragonfly. I'm pretty sure. OrcaCon certainly.
Okay.
As early bird pricing right now. I don't know what that price is because I'm a terrible board member. Do you know what the price is?
I don't know.
Wow.
But if you check out orcon.org, you can find out.
That's right.
And you can book your rooms. Can you book your rooms now? I don't know.
I don't know.
Who
If only
knows?
we had access to devices that could tell us the
That's
answers to these
true.
questions.
That's true. Well, I'm busy because I've got to
And
record the
I'm making sure I'm
levels
set
and
up with
stuff.
this thing.
I have chihuahuas to feed and walk. I
Okay.
can't do it.
Okay. Well, with that, why don't we just go into? Do we got Kickstarter news or tabletop game news? What kind of news do you got?
I have. Is this my 20-minute segment?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
Well,
awesome. All right.
hopefully not 20 minutes. But yeah.
No, I don't have too much. Let's do Kickstarter first,
Mm-hmm.
actually, because Paul. I don't know, because Paul.
Or because Tifa Robles.
Robles.
Yes, an update on Tifa Robles'
Yes.
Kickstarter.
Thank you, Paul. That's really what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Explorers of Azulicent.
Mhm.
Love that. I love Azulicent. I love it's 2 L's, by the way. No, she's there's 13 days left to go.
Okay.
Not quite 2 weeks.
Today is the 15th of
And
March.
she's about halfway there
All right.
to her goal. So come on, people, because
Come on.
because I mean you can even pledge $1 and you get her eternal gratefulness if you pledge $1 and an honorable mention in the back of the book. But you can pledge any amount, $10 or more. You can get the ebook format of your choice, $28 or more. You get a paperback copy with a map. Love maps. $34 or more. 34? Is it like 35? Anyway, autograph paperback. Blah, blah, blah. There's different things you get for different increments. If you spend $500 or more, you get a lunch with Tifa. She will buy you lunch.
Oh.
You have to pay your own transportation costs. And a crystal necklace. And some other things. It's a whole list of things you get. So
I'm writing a note to do something about this.
I actually haven't contributed yet, and I'm going to
you
do it as
guys.
soon as I get home, because this list of things, I'm married, so I can't do the $500
It is not a
thing.
date.
But
You're just going to have lunch. She's married.
all right,
It's
that's
just
another
lunch.
show.
That's another show. But support a local author.
Yes.
And
yes,
an
exactly.
all-around
Right.
good deed doer.
And when does this end, by
She
the
is a
way?
good deed doer.
What's the
13 days from now.
That would
What
be
is the date?
the
13 days from now.
The 28th.
Is that
The
the date?
28th.
Is
There
that
we
the
go.
date this is going to air? Okay.
No, we're
All
as
right,
soon as
28th.
Yes, probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so come on,
Let's
come
make
on.
a hard commitment to when this is going to go up on the podcast.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Probably
when I was a
not.
teenager, if this book would have been around when I was a teenager, I absolutely would have grabbed it. I mean,
Okay.
this looks so cool. I swear.
It does.
Come on, ladies. This thing is just, I
And
can't
right.
everyone.
And everyone. And
Mhm.
sensitive guys, or guys who should be more sensitive. Come on.
We're
Come on.
sensitive, right?
Okay, and then,
Sensitive.
Mhm.
just a couple of little Kickstarter
Okay.
board games that I
Yeah.
just looked up last week and have studied. Nah, I just looked up like 10 minutes ago. Okay, Age of Steam. I'm talking to this one.
Okay,
Should I-
we'll talk to a mic.
Okay.
Talk to a mic.
All right.
Okay.
Age of Steam. Everyone knows second deluxe edition, but I never played Age of Steam. It looks really fun. I wish I had played it so I could talk about it more.
Mhm.
But
Is it about trains or what?
it is about trains, and this is the deluxe edition, and so it's deluxe. It's the same thing you love,
It comes
but
with
deluxe.
cheese.
Comes comes with cheese, Gromit. Motherships. Okay, there was one that here it is. Quirky circuits.
Oh,
It's kind of hard to
it's
say.
cute. It is, yeah.
It is really cute, and I'm not sure if all these cute little creatures are in it, but you have these little plastic tokens, little animals. They're really cute, and it's from Plaid Hat Games, and you're trying to get your robot buddy to finish a task, and you play these cards in order to make that happen. But of course, everyone's trying to do the same thing, and you don't know what they have in their hands, and so it's and if you can see the graphics here, it's just
Very cute.
and then, geez, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but how so many Monopoly versions.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
there's like it on the cover of Monopoly, like
It
Monopoly's
Monopoly.
you don't think I could do that? What happens when you get to free parking? I don't want
Or
to do.
when you go to jail.
Oh, scary, scary.
They all park down here.
And then another one that looks kind of fun if you ever played Ticket to Ride, which, again, I haven't, but I've heard good things about it and I want to play it. Aftershock is, yes.
Is it 1989?
Yes, they're it's San Francisco. Like, I don't know, this looks so good that I don't want to play it because I have fear of earthquakes because that's
Oh.
just scary. I saw Superman. That shit scared me, man. Lois and everything.
Right, yeah.
Did I cuss? Okay.
You did.
Anyway.
Is he on the hit say?
Yeah.
Is that still considered swearing? That's ridiculous. Anyway, Aftershock. San Francisco and Venice. And like bad things happen, you're trying to build your buildings and earthquakes happen, and it's not as dramatic as in Superman when Lois almost got killed, but
The
still.
first Superman,
Yeah,
Oh, poor Lois, always in trouble.
yeah. And so that looked cool, and then, that's about it, I guess.
Cool.
That's
Okay.
about all I got.
Cool.
More on tabletop game news. Monty Cook Games
Wow.
is
Wow.
releasing Arcana of the Ancients. That is also on Kickstarter, starting March 12th to April 12th. It is 5e compatible, so check that out. Tavern Encounters, the Heroes Feast RPG supplement, up on Kickstarter as well. Another 5e compatible
Ooh, what's
type
Capers?
game. You wanted me to check that out.
Look at
Capers.
that.
Okay, Capers
That looks
Noir.
Capers are delicious.
Dude.
RPG. That's up on Kickstarter. If it's not D&D, but that doesn't matter because we like all types of RPGs.
That looks fun.
Also, and just because I am very familiar with it, is Clank.
Clank.
Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated upper management Pat Cumming soon to you, and that is from Acquisitions Incorporated.
Do
And
you remember
that is
Clink and Clank from HR Puff and Stuff? Do you
Uh,
remember that?
HR Puff and Stuff.
Is that it?
Also, we got Forge World taking pre-orders for Cawdor Bomb Delivery Rats. If you're into Necromunda, which I was, a fun game from Games Workshop.
I don't
You're
even
into
know what those
Necromunda?
words are.
Wow, dude.
No,
The things you learn about your co-hosts.
it's Necromunda.
She slides
Okay.
her chair away.
Anyway, check that out.
That sounds awesome. So,
Forge World taking pre-orders
so
now.
what do you want to do next? Interview, game review?
Let's check out Lynne Hardy.
Okay.
Shall we do that?
Let's do
Check
that.
out Lynne Hardy. That's
Yes.
disrespectful, man.
Well, listen into the interview.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Hey geeks, it is Blue Samurai here with,
I'm still Paul.
and we have our very special guest with us, someone who has been on this podcast before, Lynne Hardy. How's it going, Lynne?
Very well, thank you. Wonderful to be back again, as always, and with my two favourite podcasters.
Oh, I thank
It's
you.
wonderful to have you.
We keep on wondering, it's like, oh man, is she finally gonna not, like, file a restraining order or
all this way just to talk to us again?
avoid this continent because of us? So you're still with Caosium, is that
I
correct?
am, yes.
And what else has been going on with you?
Oh gosh, it's been an incredibly busy year since the last time I spoke to you.
Mhm,
Because obviously we now actually have Masks of Nyarlathotep out
mhm.
in print for all your adventuring and table supporting needs, because it's a chunky box set. You get an awful lot of stuff in there. So that's out, which was wonderful to finally see it released into the wild. And obviously there's been the Call of Cthulhu starter set to get new players in, encourage new keepers, teach them how to do the job basically. Because obviously that's one of the big steps, and it's quite an intimidating step, is making that decision to run something for other people.
I'm interested in it, but I am totally ignorant of the whole thing. But if there's a starter set, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it is intimidating.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and one of the things that Mike has wanted to do for Call of Cthulhu for a long time is this starter set, and now was the time to do it. So the idea is that there's everything in there, bar a pencil, that you need to run it. It starts you off with a choose your own adventure, because we're assuming that the person that buys the box is probably going to be the person that ends up being the keeper,
No, yeah.
because they've made that investment. So the choose your own adventure is book one, and that introduces you to some of the simpler rules, gets you into the idea of some of the background of the system, and then you get to the second book, which is the basic rules, giving you hints and tips, creating characters, setting up stories, and then the third book is a series of stepped scenarios. So you have Paper Chase, which is a lovely little one-on-one,
Okay.
which is probably not quite what people are going to be expecting from a Cthulhu scenario, but it's wonderful. I love Paper Chase a bit. Then we have Edge of Darkness, which is a keeper and maybe 2-3 players.
Okay.
So a little bit more complex, a little bit more involved, a little bit less keeper advice for running it, because Paper Chase has got a lot of advice. Edge of Darkness, not so much advice. And then by the time you get up to the third one, which is Dead Man's Stomp, you've got a lot less keeper advice, and it's for 4 to 6 players, because we're kind of assuming by that point you're getting the hang of things and you don't need us to hold your hand in quite the same way. And of course you've got all the character sheets in the box as well. There's dice. We were really going for the nostalgic feel for people who remember these things,
Right.
but also to make it really functional for people who are new to this, to give them the support so that they feel that bit more confident in actually taking the plunge.
Do you feel that, because with Call of Cthulhu, it's kind of a different type of RPG from other RPGs, and if you look at the Venn diagram of RPGs, I would say you get maybe the kind of the D&D Pathfinder circle, and then you got the Call of Cthulhu circle, and they overlap only a little bit. What don't you think it'd be something where you could drop more of those people in? I think those people who play D&D and Pathfinder would be interested in playing that, don't you think?
I think so, and if you do like your hitty, fighty, shooty bit, obviously we've got Pulp Cthulhu, which I love to bits. It's wonderful. So Mike moved the setting on to the 1930s. It is two-fisted mythos action. You're still going to die horribly at some point. It'll just take you slightly longer to do it, because you can go up and punch a few of them in the face before they eat your face off for your, your audacity. So you can do high action with Call of Cthulhu if you really want to. And then you have your classic, which is the more investigative side.
Right.
And obviously we've got the Down Darker Trail setting as well, which is Wild West Cthulhu, again, a little bit more action-oriented, but still that sort of mystery thing in. So one thing that I love about this hobby is, yes, you do have these big sort of tribes, if you like, but there is something out there for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Finding it is the slightly trickier thing.
Right.
Which is where conventions like this come in.
Well, I think people that like role-playing in general, if you're playing D&D, should like Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that aspect in there. And
And sometimes it's nice just to have a bit of a change of pace to refresh your batteries with your main system.
No, absolutely. So, can you tell us what you're working on? Is there any future projects? Sometimes you're a little apprehensive of telling us. Maybe perhaps you can tell us this time? Or?
Oh, there's some I would still have to shoot you if I told you. So we'll not mention those.
Okay.
But I've just finished off Children of Fear, which is the big campaign that I was writing. So that's done after 3 and a bit years.
Wow.
Well, that was one of those ones where, if something more important came up or something higher profile came up, it kind of got put to one side. But that's done now. That's sitting there waiting. And I'm doing did I put that in? Did I? No, leave it alone now. You've done. So that's done. Obviously, Terror Australis is just about to come out in print, which is the Australia source book, which is hilarious. There's an entire section on swearing in it, which made me laugh a lot, because Australians are renowned for their colourful use of language.
Yes.
At the moment, what we're doing, we're busy updating Cthulhu by Gaslight, which is the 1890s Victorian setting. So I've just written the chapter on exploration, an adventure for that, and when I get back I have another chapter to update, and we've got various writers working on that to bring it to 7th, and again sort of like improve the support for new keepers and new players in there. We're bringing some more classics up to speed, up to 7th edition. We're developing some new bits and bobs, which I can't really mention. But at some point, fingers crossed.
Well, we're going to take you to the bar tonight, and you just tell us.
Yeah, that cider's really good. So if you climb in several pints of that, you might be able to
Keep my cell phone underneath a napkin. Okay.
You're a bad man.
I am, thank you.
But one thing that I am hoping to get started this year is the Elizabethan Call of Cthulhu source book. So I've been doing some bits and bobs of reading for that. That would be more me leading it rather than necessarily writing it. But yeah, somebody asked at a panel at Gen Con a couple of years ago, which settings for Cthulhu do you think haven't been exploited enough? And I made the mistake of saying that the Elizabethan one was one that I thought could, do with a little bit more. And
it's a nice genre.
I opened my mouth and inserted both feet, basically, because it's like, okay, when are you doing that then?
Right. So you've been doing this obviously in the Caosium company. Is there anything you're doing on your own?
They keep me busy. Green Ronin keep me very busy with editing for Blue Rose, which I love. That's always lovely. Steve is a wonderful line editor to work with. Joe is a wonderful line editor to work with. So that's always nice, just for a bit of a change of pace in terms of tone and setting. Going from that sort of like creepy horror thing to the high fantasy thing is sort of like high romantic fantasy is lovely. Between them they kind of keep me really busy, so that I'm let out to do cogs and cakes for Steampunks in Space once a year, basically. At some point, if I end up unemployed again, there may be more cogs and cake stuff, but it's still something I like to get out there and run as a bit of a change of pace again. There's what else? I've been trying to do a little bit more LARPing this year, because when I started gaming, I was very much tabletop. Then I went through a period where pretty much all I did was LARPing, and then I went back to tabletop again. And I did one earlier this year, last year now. Oh yeah, because it's 2019. Which was called Winged Prayer. And that was amazing, and it was very important because it focused on the role of women in World War II in the WAF, in the Women's Auxiliary Air Force. So one of the RAFs, he's a naval architect, and his job is basically creating naval war game simulations for the Royal Navy. So you know, he has his official uniform and his honorary rank, and he creates these things. So him and another guy and a few other people who are quite well known in the British live role-playing society, they put together this amazing freeform. Actually took place in the last World War I aerodrome that's still in operation in England, possibly in Europe, I can't remember exactly. And they rigged a barn as the plotting room. So whenever you see these World War II RAF movies, there's always the women with the little sticks shooting planes around. Yeah, we were doing that, basically.
Awesome.
Thorsten had simulated 24 hours of raids based on actual historical information of, you know, raids coming in over Britain. There was 20 or 30 women, about a dozen guys who were playing the RAF flights, the various different bombers and fighters. And so I was a filter plotter. So we actually had an oscilloscope set up that was working as a chain home radio station, and they were getting the spikes, and they were relaying that information that was being converted into coordinates fed to us, so we could plot the paths of the airplanes, getting fed to the ops room so they could scramble the planes. We broke 2 bells because we were very enthusiastic with the scrambling, basically, and it was very evocative and very immersive, and it only took place over one day because it was, you know, very intense, but so superb, and it showed the sort of power of what live role playing can do in terms of education and immersion, but also in terms of team building, because we literally started on the Saturday morning. We had a bit of a training session on the Friday afternoon where we were all just sort of standing there looking at each other going, did you get any of that? No. So we started off as total novices on the Saturday morning, got thrown in completely, and by the end of Saturday, when we had all 3 ops teams in at the same time, because there was just so much coming in as they were sort of like simulating the 100+ bomber raid onto London for the start of the Blitz. You know, the sort of like 30 women working together as this well-oiled machine, and then able to teach the guys who'd been they'd been doing simulated dog fights in a room next door as we were feeding them information, and then just like watching them come in and seeing what we were doing, because they had no clue, and watching their jaws hit the floor when they saw. That was an absolutely fantastic experience.
Wow, you know, it's great because it gives you a historical perspective, and maybe you get to know what your grandparents had to go through.
Well, one of the things I wanted to do it for was because my great aunt's best friend, my Auntie Doreen, she had been a plotter during World War II. And my aunt had actually worked as a teletype operator at one of the Station Ys, getting the radar information and feeding it down to the plotters and things. So yeah, there was that personal family connection, which is why I wanted to get involved in it. But it is something that they were thinking of maybe rolling out as an educational tool, because that side of things isn't particularly well known, and how hard the women worked to so that the flyboys could look good and could do what they did. You know.
The best they get is a little blip of a thing in a movie of them at the table with the sticks. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it took years for them to get recognition and medals and things, and of course you've got the whole, the Air Transport Authority, which was the women pilots, a lot of them were women pilots, just getting in and flying everything. With virtually no training, no safety net, no navigational things, and they could fly anything, anywhere to get those planes delivered from the factory to the airfields.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. That's where, learning history and role play and all that just kind of come together.
Yeah.
You know what I love doing, too, when I talk to game designers and writers like yourself, is learning how the sausage is made in some of these campaigns. And so, you know, you're writing, you're not the only one writing a particular campaign. Is there other people involved with this, and how does that work, and is there sometimes conflict that happens, and how does that work?
It can be. I'm an idiot in the fact that I keep insisting on writing these gigantic things on my own. So, you know, I do keep telling people, if I start making noises that I'm going to do it again, sit me down, give me a cup of tea and tell me not to be stupid, because children are fear with me. and that is a ridiculous thing to do on your own, because it's a lot of work, and you do get a bit stale because you're not bouncing ideas off people.
Right.
Obviously, if you're working with a team, it helps if everybody knows what it is they're supposed to be doing, so there's no accidental overlap and sort of like crossover with people duplicating what they're doing. Masks of Nyarlathotep, there was the four of us, so there was myself, Mike Mason, Scott Dorwood and Paul Fricker. So we were assigned our particular chapters, we developed those, we updated them. Then, because we were experts in those chapters, we then went and looked at the other chapters to see where our chapters cropped up, to strengthen those links. And it meant, because we were using sort of Google Docs and working online, we could pop in, see what everybody else was doing and tailor things together. So that was a very collaborative process. And if you get people who can work together like that, it's a joyous thing, it really is. And it does make life a lot easier because you do have people you can go to and say, I was thinking of doing this, is this going to tie in with what you're doing? Oh, I kind of need you to do this, would you be able to fit that in? So it's a very organic process as it works and grows
So in
together.
that particular campaign, just to dive in a little further, so how does that work? Caosium goes, hey Lynn, we want you to do this. I assume they said, we want you to do another campaign. Do they come up with the theme, then you work on it, or is it something to go, okay, I'll start this campaign, these are my people? Is that how that usually works?
With Masks, Mike basically came to us and went, I want you three to help me do this. And
okay.
sometimes that will be the way that it works. If you have a particular idea, if you're leading a particular project, and you have authors in mind that you want to work with, then you will approach and say, are you interested? This is kind of like the framework, these are the things I'd like you to work on. That's certainly what we did with the Acton books, was I developed the framework and then sort of like divided them up and gave them to people.
And then does an outline comes out first, or you got to get together, this is our outline, and then work out the chapters?
There's always if it's a brand new thing, it starts with the pitch.
Okay.
So that you know what the general idea is, where this thing's going to be going. Obviously with Masks, which was an update, you're working to a framework that's already established. We did kind of do what chapters do people want to work on? So I grabbed I grabbed Egypt and China because I'd done a lot of research in those two areas for other things, so it wasn't going to take me a lot of time to get up to speed to be able to, get on with that.
How much of it is research and how much of it is writing?
An awful lot of it's research for me because I'm terrible.
I mean, you're talking about you want to do an Elizabethan themed Cthulhu. That means you're going to have to, unless you're an expert of that particular era of history, you're really going to have to dive into it, right?
Oh yeah, I've got a huge number of books at home that are lined up that I'm busy working through, because even though I'm probably not going to be writing that much of that to put together the pitch and the framework, I need to know what's there so that I can include the key interesting stuff to get other people to go look into and write for me.
And you have 4 different people doing different chapters. Are they all writing at the same time?
Again, that's going to depend on the project that you're looking at. For Masks, yes, we were all working at the same time. Other people, on other projects, it may well be that you'll get a couple of chapters in because that's when their window of availability is, and then another couple of bits might come later, and then it'll be the editor's job to stitch them all together. Each project is very different in that respect. I mean, I've spent a lot of time sort of working individually or stitching bits together from other writers. So Masks was a really nice experience for me because it was the first time I'd worked in a very collaborative sense like that. I was more used to sort of like handing stuff to people and going, here you go, come back to me in a couple of months with a thing that I will then stitch into a whole.
Do you have a situation where, okay, you're coming together with these chapters, and then you're starting to, I guess, do almost the final edits, or you're starting to go to the edits and go, whoa, wait, there's a continuity issue here. We have to rewrite this.
Yeah, that was usually my job.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't quite work. Let's just tweak it.
And you were were you the project manager for that particular campaign?
On Acton, on the Acton line for the Kickstarter stuff, yeah, that was me. I was the line developer, so it was my job to make sure that everything stitched together. Obviously, on Call of Cthulhu now at Caosium, ultimately that's Mike's job. But it depends on how who's got what projects. So again, we've had a few campaigns and things come in that Mike's let me run with, as the sort of the editor and developer on those. So it's very much me been going through looking for inconsistencies, because I'm a bit of a pedant when it comes to things like that, and because of my training and sort of like reading DNA sequences off X-ray films, you can get quite good at spotting little things that aren't quite right. So just making sure that the through line makes sense and there's no glaring holes, there's no leaps in logic and things, and just plugging them. And sometimes I have to plug them myself because there isn't time to go back to the original author. Sometimes you will go to the original author, hey, could you just do this for me, to sort of like take care of this. But again, it's very much on a book by book basis and people's availability.
Yeah, it's funny you just mentioned it, the DNA sequencing and all that. If you, just to the listeners out there, you can go back to a previous podcast where we kind of go into your life history when Paul and I were talking to you.
Yeah.
And Paul, you went through one of our sessions.
I did Cogs Kick Sword Sticks. It was super fun. I want to do it again. Yeah, it was a different kind of, that was like the second role-playing game I played. I played, 2 months worth of D&D, and then jumped into that.
That was the steampunk one with the Space Needle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was brilliant. Yes.
I had a lot of fun with that one.
That was very fun. Yeah.
And then you were you running the game yesterday in this room?
No. I was acting as a guest appearance.
Okay.
Because there's an ongoing, an annual Blue Rose game happens here, and last year I was invited to take part because a couple of people couldn't make it and they needed bodies. So I came along and had a wonderful time, and apparently I must have been sufficiently entertaining that they asked me back again last night. I only got to make a brief cameo appearance because I had to go off and do a panel, but that was a huge amount of fun.
Good. Yeah, because you gotta have fun. You can't you can't write all these games and not participate in some other games. Right?
Yeah, it is nice to get out and play. Although I have kind of shot myself in the foot a bit this year, because quite often when we're doing play testing for Caosium, it's a Wednesday night and we do it over Skype. But I'm currently learning hieroglyphics, which is also on a Wednesday night. So I kind of
You're learning hieroglyphics.
I am learning hieroglyphics. Yes.
Wow, man, you got an advanced degree. Now you want to learn hieroglyphics, and then you're like a Renaissance man. You're amazing.
I can read spells. I can read some of the spells on tombs now, because one of our tutors has specifically taught us how to translate some of the spells on tombs for offerings and things. He was quite intrigued by the fact that I write games set in the 1920s, and some of them happen to just be in Egypt and things. So I think from various hints he dropped, he may be teaching me how to write curses next term.
Right.
So when you're not writing and not doing all the designing games and learning hieroglyphics, so what is there any particular games or campaigns you're doing right now just on fun?
No.
All right. Yeah.
Not at the moment.
No, not at the moment. All right. And if people want to see you in other cons, what do you got going on for the rest of 2019?
Oh gosh, it's going to be a busy one. I'm pretty certain I'm going to Carcosa, which is a new Cthulhu one in a Polish castle.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's actually the same Polish castle that my lovely husband Richard goes to for his wizarding larpy things.
Okay.
Called Choha, which is the most amazing fairy tale looking castle.
Wow.
So it's going to be there. So a perfect setting. It's got a dungeon, it's got a tower, it's got all sorts of things, so that should be really cool. Then there's Mini Kraken in the Schloss at Neuhausen in Germany, which is wonderful. That is a fantastic little convention. They did the first mini one last year, which was great. And then possibly Games Expo, don't know about that one yet. Then, provided we're actually allowed out of England again after April, there'll be Big Kraken in October, Steampunks in Space at the end of November, and probably Dragon Meet again at the end of the year.
Gen Con? You going to make a Gen Con appearance at all?
Probably not, no, because you just reminded me of the other one that I'm going to, which is Necronomicon in August, which is the biennial Lovecraft one in Providence, Rhode Island. And I went there the first time a couple of years ago, and that was fabulous.
And of course you will be going in 2020 to OrcCon, right?
If I'm allowed back, yes.
Well, I hope so. Well, I'm one of the board members, so I vote yes.
I vote yes as well.
All right, there we go. We need one more vote.
You know I love coming here.
Yes. And how do people get a hold of you? Have you got Twitter or Facebook page or something we can
I
check
do.
you out?
So I am at Cogs and Cakes
Mhm.
on Twitter. I was a very good girl last year. I actually wrote a blog every month. So if you go looking for Cogs, Cakes and Sword Sticks, I think it's Blogspot, you will see my ramblings and witterings on about the various things that I've been getting up to and the projects that I can and can't talk about.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going to try and be good this year too. I'm going to try and keep that up because that was a really good sort of discipline to get into to make sure I was updating that on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And of course, we can check out Caosium. I think Caosium has its own Twitter and Facebook
They
page as
do,
well.
yes they do. They're very active on social media, so they've got their own Twitter, their own Facebook, there's their own blog if you go to the Caosium website that has lots of information. If you're interested in running stuff, there's the Cult of Chaos for Cthulhu, where you can join up and you get the organised play material, free scenarios. They're the people we tend to go to and to ask them to run things at conventions. They're running a lot of stuff here this weekend too. So they're a good bunch.
Okay. Well, it's an opportunity if you want to dedicate yourself to Cthulhu. Sorry, Cthulhu. Jeez. So anyway, hey, thanks a lot for coming on the show. We're always pleased that you come by.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's always lovely to come talk to you too.
Thank you.
All right. Well, take care. See you next year.
Hopefully.
All right.
It's so great talking to Lynne Hardy. She's one of my favorite people. I said that earlier.
I love her. We're going to get to interview her again.
I never met
Yes.
her.
You know
but
how I know
love
this?
her too.
Because she's nice.
She's super nice, and she always comes to OrcaCon.
Cool.
And
She's a hardy gal.
love hearing about the things she's working on at Caosium.
Thanks.
So it's wonderful. It's really killing me. Have you guys seen Captain Marvel yet?
Oh yes, I have.
Steve?
No.
You don't like comic books, that's right.
I love
forgot.
comic books.
You hate
Oh,
comic
you're a
books.
hater.
Captain
That's right.
Marvel is great.
No, I'm going
Let
to
me
see
tell
this
you how it
weekend.
ends.
Let me
tell you the final thing
No.
after the credits of what happens.
No.
Can I just say one thing? There's a kitty.
Yes?
Well, that
But he knows there's a kitty.
I know there's
a kitty.
There's a kitty in the comic book.
Yes.
Who's an alien.
Kitty.
Yes. Now you have spoiler alert.
Wow, way to do
Wow.
that.
In the comic
Jeez.
book?
I
The
didn't.
comic book.
I don't know what it is
Whatever.
in the movie.
I haven't read the comic book. You just spoiled it.
You're
for
never
me.
going to read the comic book.
How do you know that?
I know that.
'Cause you don't know
You haven't
how to
done it
read.
yet.
Why can't Rebecca
That's
read?
right.
I didn't read about the platypus.
No,
Why would
you
I?
did not. The one with the Z-wall that you can read.
Well, it's fantastic. I
Good.
highly suggest it to
Yeah.
anyone who wants to bring their family, especially if you have young girls.
Quite fun.
Yes.
I love all this women power
It's awesome.
superhero.
That's right.
It's
awesome
awesome.
Tifa's book. Captain Marvel. I love that they didn't call her Captain Marvelette. That would have killed me.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Where was this stuff when I was growing up? All we had was Anne of Green Gables and Laura Ingalls.
It was there. You just
And
didn't-
Laura was tough,
You just
but
weren't nerdy
still.
enough.
That's right. I wasn't.
You didn't embrace your nerd until much later in life, just
Yeah.
like Paul.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I embrace Steve whenever I can.
That's right.
He's my nerd.
So speaking of nerds
TMI.
and a nerd review of a tabletop game, you want to check out Geek's Tabletop Game Review and
Yeah.
see what
Doug Ankelly.
Enchilada Shuffle. No, not Enchilada Shuffle. What is it again?
Echidna.
Echidna Shuffle. Which, by the way, if you have a game you would like us to review, you can email us at geeksofcascadia@gmail.com or check us out on Facebook, Geeks of Cascadia, or
You
there's
can
a
Twitter at us.
Yes.
At Geeks Cascadia. You can take a picture of yourself.
And still Paul
And
will
tag 'em.
respond to all of these.
Tag at Geeks Cascadia on Instagram.
Are
That's
you
right.
guys
And
responsive
you
to
can
see
check
other-
us out and
Oh,
give
he's
us
doing
a
it.
review
Yep.
on, they don't call it
Do you-
iTunes anymore, right? Apple
It's Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts,
Apple Podcasts.
Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud. We're on everything, which is
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
Yes.
Actually, I'm pretty amazed that we're on everything.
We're pretty much everywhere. It's
Until
great.
people figure it out.
Yes.
So is it just still Paul that handles the great influx of
I
emails?
spend hours
Yes.
each day
Yes.
going through the fan mail.
Right.
Do you
That's
get
what I tell you.
Do you get bags of actual postage to?
Yes, I
fan
do.
members?
It's like I'm like
Oh,
Santa
God.
Claus of podcasting.
Wow.
There you go.
Someday I'll help you with that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
I got
but
paper
before
cuts.
we do that, why don't we check out this game review?
Yes.
Let's do that right about.
Welcome to another tabletop game review. As always, I'm Kelly and this is Doug, and today we have Echidna Shuffle.
Echidna Shuffle.
Echidna Shuffle.
Echidna, there's a D in there. Yeah, it's
They're
weird.
cute. And
They
they
are.
look like porcupines, but they're cute.
Hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs, thank you. Hedgehog. They look like hedgehogs, but they're cute. Echidnas.
You might recognize the word echidna from the Sonic the Hedgehog games, because Knuckles is the last Echidna.
I did not recognize it from
You
Sonic.
did, you did not realize that? Yeah.
No, I didn't. I don't think I've ever played Sonic the Hedgehog games.
Weird. All right. So go for it.
Okay, so we haven't set it up yet for you guys because setup is actually a crucial part of this game, and this box is perfectly fit for everything as it comes in, so it's like actually really cool as you pull everything out. He's planned every little thing to fit absolutely perfectly so that you can pull it out without having to separate your blues from your greens or your meeples from anything else, and it's actually pretty cool.
And by he, you mean Chris Gould, the
I
designer
was
of...
going to say Chris, and then I couldn't quite remember.
Chris is a local designer to the Seattle area.
Do you want red or blue, Doug?
I will be blue, like always.
The ants.
Yes, the ants. So we got this game. It came out kind of around Dragonflight last year, so kind of around August. And as Kelly set it up, it's Echidna Shuffle. Chris Gould, Wattsalpoag Games published it. I think he's a
local
self-publisher.
guy?
Yeah, local
And a
guy.
self-publisher.
So that's pretty good. Yeah, we've got a few of his games on the shelf. Jet
Look
Set.
at them, they're cute. They're very tactile, and I think we had some kids just like pounding with them and do all sorts of things that kids do with them because we left them out at OrcaCon, and so you have the little kids who come along and like do things with them at Dragonflight. That's right, it was Dragonflight, not OrcaCon. Sorry. And you can even hear it. They're pretty good.
They're pretty nice. So these all get set up randomly out on the board. I'm going to let you go ahead and do that.
So just so you guys can see, there are arrows on the board, and that's the directions the echidnas to go. They can't go backwards, and they can't leap over each other. They have to go forwards, one at a time. And did I do it right? No, I didn't do it right. It's two-sided if you want to play a more complicated game.
Oh yeah, the snow side is...
Which I wanted to
It's
do
so
before
complex.
we started putting these things out here.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of echidnas.
Yeah, so this game's for 2 to 6 players, about 6 and up. So it's very, very good for those younger kids because it's just moving things around, rolling a die and moving things. It's
a gigantic game of leapfrog.
But you can't leap things.
I know.
So why would you compare it to
I
leapfrog?
don't know. Have a dice.
Thank you.
Because that's important.
And this game only takes about 10 to 20 minutes. There's some variants in it that it can be a little bit more complex if you're done with the basic game and you want to kind of step things up.
Or even if you're just playing with an older crowd, doing things, we'll go through those in a minute. Just leveling up the play just a little bit, not where you penalize people for touching other people's echidnas, but where you penalize people for making the game go on longer.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of cool.
So we're doing setup right now.
I sold Doug stumps.
I have Kelly stumps, and we're going to place them separate from their bug platform.
The launch pads.
Yeah, where they pick up their bugs that they're trying to deliver to their colored stumps.
So what's going to happen is the echidnas will come onto the launch pads, and on Doug's turn, if echidnas is on his launch pad, or if he moves a echidna onto his launch pad, he can then have his bug ride around on the echidna. And the goal is to get that echidna to his stump. So once that echidna moves forward and gets the bug, he is 1/3 of the way closer to winning by getting his bug to his home stump. So when I place his stumps, I don't want to place them right next to him. Sometimes you can be rude and place them directly behind, or in a place where there's always the option to push him away. You always have your opponent place your stumps rather than you placing your own stumps, because then they all just end up here. And you can share stumps with leaves, so if you want to put your stumps in the same place as I put my stumps, we can absolutely do that. I'm not going to put that there. There.
Do you place all of them?
All of them.
You did place all of them.
I did place all of them.
Yeah, let's just go right there. Right there. And I'll be nice. I'll put one.
Right there?
Ha! Right there. Sure.
Right.
Cool.
and then play begins. So on your turn, you're going to roll a dice. And the cool thing about this dice is it's actually 2 through 7. And on your turn, so Doug rolled a 3. Next turn, he's going to get a 6. And this balances out for people who, like me, who can't roll consistently. So you've got somebody who's always rolling 6s versus somebody who's always rolling 3s, and it balances out to 9 every time. So you're going to get 9 moves in 2 turns. Just whether or not you're going to get it in 5s and 4s, or if you're going to get it in 2s and 6s. 7s. So you got 3 moves, Doug.
I'm going to place my little blue chit right there. I'm going to move 3, so 1. Haha! I've got a bug.
The ant is now riding on an echidna. 3. Okay, so then I'm going to roll. Now I get a 5. There. So we're going to do... This guy's going to pop over there. I'm just going to...
Just throw it.
1. And so you get to move that many leaves. Not that many echidnas, but that many leaves. So you can move the same echidna more than once. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll get another guy out there.
Alright, my turn. This slides down and I get 6.
Yep.
So...
And that's the very basis of the game.
1,
some of them,
3,
once you get to home base, your bugs come off. If you're playing with some people who are a little bit more cutthroat and you want the game to end quicker, your bugs never deplete. You always have 3 bugs. Even though you only have 1 or 2 stumps out there, you can have all 3 of your bugs out there as one of the alternates that you can play. If I wanted to, not that Doug's in any position to start winning, but if his echidna was here, I could push it forward, and then he would get an extra move because of it. Is one of the other alternates, like I said, penalizing for keeping the game going longer by winning, by stopping them from winning. I'm gonna go
4.
I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, now I get to roll the die. 7.
Ooh,
Fancy.
right? Means you get 2 next turn.
Yeah.
And then play just continues until somebody collects all of their stumps.
1. It's gonna be so awkward. 2,
'Cause there's
3,
let's see if I can look up any
4,
other.
5.
And see, when he produced it, he actually did it in a lot of, that's not English.
Yeah, the
That's
instructions in different languages.
That-
I think he did that in all of his games.
He did. He absolutely does it in all the games. And Chris is very good at trying to make his stuff very tactile for those younger kids. Like I said, he's a local favorite. He's a cool guy. I also have 7. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh.
Yeah, this is pretty much the game. It's just we keep going back and forth, and it's something that you can.
6.
No. So that messes me up because I have to move all of these
gives him an
that are in
extra-
front of here.
Yeah, it makes it 2 more moves for him. 7, which gets that guy out of my way.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the game. It can get very busy with 6 players. I think the max I've done is 5.
Oh yeah, just to put it out here, in case you didn't see, there are 6-player alternatives. And they're all different bugs. So we have butterflies, and bumblebees, and grasshoppers,
And you have ladybugs. I have ants.
beetles.
Yeah, I think that's the 6.
Yeah, that's a 6.
Yeah.
And it's... So I like the game because it's tactile for that younger age group. He recommends... What did he say? He says 6 and up. Carrie loves this game. Carrie is 4. We talk about Carrie a lot. Sometime we'll introduce you to Carrie. Carrie is awesome. So yeah, we had it out at Dragonflight, and just all the kids decided that they were going to come hang out with it, and it unintentionally became its own self-babysitter. But we also had we had a group of college kids in, or they might have been like 20, 25, somewhere in there, and they got very like, how can I possibly stop this? In
This-
which case, that game went on for like 2 hours.
Yeah, this is one of those games where if you play it with mixed ages and if you're playing with kids, the kids will most likely win.
Yeah.
It's very. That's pretty much what's going to happen. I always lose kids' games when I play with kids. It's very strange. I mean, I even did that when I was teaching a few people in the store once.
Yeah.
All the older kids were worrying about messing up each other, and then the
He was just focusing on
6-year-old.
himself.
Yeah, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah. Like I said, that's where those alternate rules come in, and you can start, like I said, for if I were to move him, if we were over here on this guy, he would get the extra move for moving that. Putting your bugs back into the pool. So even though I've collected a stump, being able to put my bug back out there and still having 3 bugs to try to get to 1 stump, just to minimalize those people who are very cutthroat and very much like, how can I make him not win versus how can I win?
And you gotta mix that as well. So.
Which is a test to Chris for just being awesome. Thanks for watching. You can follow us as Geeks of Cascadia on Twitter or Facebook or wherever you want to go. You can follow him as Captain Napkin on Twitter. He's down there. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching and tuning in.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I love that Echidna Shuffle game. I want to get that. Is that bad? Since I'm
No.
almost
No,
50?
it's great.
Is that
No,
bad?
it looks super
Great.
fun.
It looks. I
They're
think,
so cute.
and anyone can play it. It's really great. Pick up bugs and deliver them to their home stumps. Who doesn't like that?
Yeah, and 10 to 20 minutes is how I like to play games.
Right.
I like it.
Because we're old and then we fall asleep.
Yes, exactly.
I always pick up bugs and bring them to my home stump.
But you know what game we like and we can play for hours? D&D.
Yes.
Which is tonight is D&D.
It is, and yeah, we must be pretty close to finishing the Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Well, Steve said we got about 4 to 5 more weeks
Well,
left.
okay, well, he did finish the session last week by saying, no, next week we'll see what I can do to get you guys back on track.
Right, because we are not very smart.
I feel like
No.
we missed a bunch of things that he
Oh,
was
you're-
dropping for us, or at least
Well-
one thing.
There was a lot of clues that apparently we don't pay attention to.
Well,
Because
see,
Right,
now
don't.
I'm
I
still,
think we overthink things.
I'm
That's-
still
We do.
the newbie, and I look to you guys for guidance. So what the hell were you?
Just
why
jump
did
in.
you-
Yeah, just jump in
Did I
though.
say hell?
I mean, I
Language.
mean, anyone could kind of role play or whatever.
Yeah, just
So
jump
what
in.
are we
clues.
looking for in our campaign? Are we
Well, we
still
can't-
looking
we
for
can't-
like
we-
a? We're not looking. We got money, right? We're not.
No,
looking
we
for-
don't have money. We're
Oh, we're
poor.
very poor. We have this artifact that is
Funds things?
tells
The
us
stone?
things.
Spoilers.
The
Yeah,
stone
spoilers.
galore.
But you're going to get all of
Pussy
this
galore.
on our
That's
segment
not-
behind the DM screen
Yes.
many weeks from now once we finish the game.
That'll
We'll
keep
do
them
a
holding
full
on.
review.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're spending too much time trying to defeat the cultists,
It's so much more fun
not
to
eno-
fight them.
and not enough time trying to find the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we should concentrate.
It's
finding
called
them.
water.
It's
Waterdeep
probably
Dragon
just
Heist.
like in one
Correct,
of the
which I have
many
to read.
fireplaces or something. It's probably under someone's
No, it's
or under
there.
someone's
It's
mattress.
below.
It's probably
You think that? Well, you never know. We certainly
never
haven't checked
asked.
there
What
because
Never
we're
asked.
we're just spinning around the city like
Yes,
tourists.
Exactly.
Waterdeep's fun.
So cool.
All right. Well, with that, why don't we go?
Eat poke?
Let's do that and then play some D&D.
Let's do that.
All right. Catch you later. Bye. And don't forget, embrace the nerd. And I hope you make that saving throw.